guys, this week we're going to be talking about The Mayor, Jane the Virgin, and The Flash. So let's get right into it. First off is The Mayor. I was really rooting for this show. It reminded me of Head of State. If you ever saw that movie with Chris Rock, that's what this show reminded me of. I was really rooting for it and I was hoping that it would be good, and I was impressed. It's funny, so it served its purpose. I was impressed with how much they actually packed into the pilot episode, because it's a half an hour show and there was a lot that happened and it didn't seem like an overwhelming amount of stuff. It moved quickly. It told you a lot of information, showed you a lot. So I was really impressed that they were able to do that in a half an hour show and it not be like too fast or too overwhelming. But this show just has a great cast. Most of the people I've never really seen before, so and I think that they're really great. So it's just an all-around really great show. Again, it still reminds me of Head of State. It's like a nice, funny, feel-good type of show that still kind of tackles on like issues in politics. So I think it's a great show, and you guys should all check it out. So I will be continuing to watch that week after week. Next up is Jane the Virgin. It premiered on Friday, which is a new night. Luckily I was able to remember that it came on. Sometimes I don't remember Friday night shows, but the episode was good. It was just a typical Jane the Virgin episode. It had its twists and turns and things were happening, and that was it. This show is like based off a telenovela, so of course it's gonna have its twists and turns, and crazy things are gonna happen, and the places where the characters are in the pilot episode are like won't be the same 5 episodes later. It won't be the same in the mid-season finale. It won't be the same in the series finale. Like, things are always changing. So I don't really get worried about like relationships. I will always be Team Raphael for some reason. Like, I will always be Team Raph, but the writers do such a good job of making all the characters likable. So even though Jane is now going after her first love, Adam, he's still cool. So I'm all right with that, but I will always be Team Raphael. But it was a great episode. Very interesting to see how the season progresses. As people are moving in different lives. Zoe's married to Rogelio now, but Rogelio's having a child with somebody else, so that'll be interesting to see. And then just Jane and all her craziness, and then Petra and her twin sister, and Rops and his sister, they're working together, so just to see all the craziness that happens with them, and to see how that comes all together and what they end up doing, because Sinrostro's still around, because she'll probably never be gone until the series finale, and Inesca's still around, and who knows if she'll ever be gone. We had high hopes in the premiere. They were like, she's gone, but I was a little skeptical about it, and she ended up coming back. So yeah, interested to see where the show goes in the future. So yeah, I'll be staying tuned. Next up is The Flash. Now there was a lot of stuff that happened in this episode. There were some things that I didn't like, and there were some things that I liked. Let's start out with a couple things that I didn't really like. So first off, I knew that they weren't going to let Barry stay in the Speed Force for a long time, but I still wanted them to just prolong it a little bit, like maybe at least have one full episode where he's not there, just so we could see like the team Kid Flash. Like, they will never let Wally be great. Like, it's so frustrating because he's Kid Flash and he's supposed to be a superhero and he's supposed to be doing good in the city, and we barely got to see like a brunt of that. Like, we got to see them stop one villain, but like, no, it went straight into how we're gonna get Barry back. Let's get Barry back. Barry's back. The end. Like, that's basically what the episode was. I just wish that we got to see the team more in their lives without him around, and then they bring him back after like an episode. Like, I'm fine with it being just an episode. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be a long time, like half the season or anything like that. They don't waste time, especially like last season with Flashpoint. It was only an episode, but the after effects were all throughout the season. So I'm assuming that this was going to be this season, and talk a little bit about why later. Also, I think they forgave Caitlyn too soon. Like, I was with Iris, she was like, what are you doing here? Where have you been for the last 6 months? And everyone and wasn't really ready to just let her be a part of the team again, especially after everything she did last season. But like Joe and Wally were just like, whatever, fine with it. Of course Cisco's gonna forgive her automatically, because like that's his best pal or whatever. So but yeah, I just thought they forgave her too soon. And again, I just wanted to see Team Kid Flash in action more often, stopping more villains. Of course, like, I know from reading spoilers and stuff like that, that Iris is still going to be in charge of the team at Star Labs, but it's just going to be a little different because Barry's back and he's used to being in charge, and now they have to deal with that. So yeah, I just wish that they had prolonged him being in the Speed Force a little bit longer than they actually did, because that whole like beginning like 5-7 minutes was like not enough for us to see them in action without him. Moving on to the things that I did like seeing Iris in charge. Of course I like that. Like, obviously, if you don't know that by now, then yeah. But I also liked how Star Labs got an update. Last season, Savitar kind of destroyed it, and I kind of forgot about it. I was like, oh yeah, of course it's going to be updated and look different, because he completely destroyed it. It's not going to look the same. Hopefully they got a new security system so people don't still be walking up in there unannounced without any alarms going off. I also liked how we got to see a little bit of Joe and Cecile's relationship and how that is moving forward as she's moved in to their house. So Barry is out of Star Labs, and he went through that whole weird moment where he was saying a whole bunch of random things, and apparently he doesn't remember, but I don't buy that he doesn't remember it. I think that'll start happening again, at least, or that was just like I have the theory that he has a new power, because people were talking about how he would have a new power from the Speed Force, and I think from what I've read and just from what I saw in the pilot episode, I think that he is going to be able to see the past, the present, and the future all at the same time. And I think that's why he was saying weird things about his mom and how there was another man in there when she died, because that was the past. And then he was talking about some other things and being in the present, and then he said that whole thing about needing more diapers, which obviously hints to the Tornado Twins. So that's why I think that he's gonna end up being able to like kind of see the past, present, and the future at the same time. And that was probably like super overwhelming for him when he first came out, and that's why he was acting all weird. And then the whole thing with Iris happened, and it kind of like snapped him back into reality. Also, the symbols that he was drawing on everything definitely mean more than what they thought they did. Whatever code Cisco tried to use to crack it, I don't think that it was the right one, or it's more complicated than what they thought, and it's going to take a little longer for them to crack it. Hopefully they still have those pictures of the symbols like archived somewhere so they can go back to it, because I have a feeling that that's not the last we're going to see of it, and I'm not going to rest until they talk about it again, because it's just going to bother me the whole season until they talk about it again. And if they just leave it by the wayside, I'm be a little upset, because I don't know, I just feel like they have more to them than what it is. And the new villain is the Thinker, who's like super creepy and just looks weird because he has all them things attached to his brain. But obviously, like he's really smart. He has a good mind. Like what he comes up with, secret codes or whatever, they're not going to be able to fathom that quickly and just crack that quickly. So I'm hoping that if it is still a secret code and they do go back to it, that it's not the Thinker just telling them what it meant and being like, haha, you never solved it, this is what it means, and then like goes off and does evil things. I hope they end up cracking it and like getting ahead of him instead of like always being behind, because they always seem to be behind until like dire end, and then they're like, oh, we get it now, and now we can be ahead and figure out how to beat the villain. But yeah, I'm excited for it not being a speed to villain, because we've had too many of those and we need a break. Hopefully for good. And yeah, the Thinker is just this creepy looking thing, but it's kind of I'm excited to see more of the Thinker, and I'm excited because I've been hearing that this is going to be a lighter season because last season was super dark. So I'm excited to see them get back to the funny and the lightheartedness of the show. Also, there's going to be a 4-episode crossover like there was last year, so I'm super excited to see that, because we all know that it is Barry and Iris's wedding. So if you didn't know it, sorry, spoiled it for you, but it's kind of obvious with everything that has come out, and I've seen pictures of it already, so circulating the internet. So yeah, but that's all for now. I'll be watching and live tweeting every week. The next video that I come out with for you guys will be about the premiere of The Walking Dead, which I'm a little iffy about, not too excited, but I'm still gonna watch it. Whenever I finally watch the first couple episodes of Inhumans, I will do Inhumans versus The Gifted, since they're two similar shows and the superhero shows from Marvel. So I will talk about them both, but I still have to get through the episodes of Inhumans, and if that doesn't tell you anything about what's coming with that video, then stay tuned, but stay tuned anyways. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.